Hey everybody, Ken Krushka here. So I was buttoning up my Selectric and I started to put it back together and I realized maybe you guys might want to see how some of this goes together. I've had to change many things on this. This was the original tab pulley assembly, and it is scary. It either belongs in a museum or hell. It's like holding a live shell in my eyes. I mean, it's got this little square nut in the middle. It's just a made-to-fail thing. This is just a museum piece here, but the replacement one, which is on here, has a metal bracket up top, and it's just so much more safe. This guy down here, that the velocity cable is mounted to, right here, that whole assembly the tip was broke off, so I got a parts unit is what happened, and put that piece on. But to do that, you can just take this whole assembly out. You remove that C-clip there, and it slides off of that shank. You don't have to take that flathead screw out. You just take off these two springs and slide that whole assembly off. This bar will have some give to it. Make sure you got to remove these two as well. Just let them lay out of the way, but that'll give you the clearance to change that. As opposed to all these little things, the tab returns, the margin markers. I ended up with a gray one, but that's what I got on the parts unit. So then I ordered a new carriage marker that rides in a fulcrum. It's not hard to change. If you get in there, you'll see that looks like a teardrop shape right here. It's like a teardrop shape on each side, and then under it is the fulcrum has a little tang. If you have one of those, like dental pick sets, or pick sets is what they're called, it makes life easier for this kind of thing, or a real small flathead screwdriver. With these margin markers, you need, here's a broken one here. So how that rides on the margin is, well, there's the little bracket that the thing rides in, and then that tooth pushes it, clicks in to the back side of that piece. Let's see if we can see it. So that's the tooth down into the bracket part here. And what happens is these crack out, and then you end up with just a bare little assembly without like that. So if you took that off of it, and then there's a spring in the middle. So if you remove that spring, you can finesse that assembly out of there. It's just a little bit of a twist and thing, because it's kind of got that that face on it there. It's not bad. It's not bad. And then it slides in on the margin. You rehook your spring, like I say, that bracket, and then you rehook that spring, and then make sure that's clamped in the two necks, and you're there. The paper scale thing, that has these little divots at the ends, and you just have to push inward force, and that'll allow you to get those springs out. I had to replace one of them, and then you just pinch it back. Once you put the new spring in, you pinch that with the pliers. That's pretty easy. Let's put this back in its case, and then I'll just kind of talk about Bristol wrenches while I'm doing that. The Bristol wrench is what you're going to need to remove the platen head, ratchet, the handles on the platen. Oh boy, let me get you in. Okay, you're on that. Here we go. So the body just kind of sets in. Just got to line up. Watch your fingers. You just line up with the rubber pads. You get down in there. And then you got to watch for this front on this side over here. Over here, there's a little handle under here, and this is kind of like the lock to locking the body down. So you just got to find the there. See how that fell into place? And then you just take a screwdriver or something and get back there and kind of lock it in. This one, unlike the Selectric II, it doesn't give you the finger room to get your fingers down in there. Okay, and then of course, this was the parts unit one. This is the cord, or vent. It's the vent, but the cord has to go through it. So, just kind of finesse that there. You slide her down in to place like so. Okay, make sure that's open. I've set the paper tray in already. And now we're going to put this in. Now I replaced this page end guide here. I read the typewriter repair manual beginning part, and Howard Hutchinson talks about this. See how that's all warped? That's the old one. Not the old knob, but the old end guide. That is a useless part, but since I got a nice one, I'm going to keep it there. And that just kind of clicks in. So you got these two. Releases and click in. So that's how that works. I cleaned up the card guide. I didn't need to replace that. Down in there, I've re-greased. I used this kind of grease here. Something my dad uses. He's a gunsmith. And okay. Okay. Let's. In regards to Bristol, they got a hand cycle tool. This is a left-hand thread thing, and it goes right in over here if you needed to cycle your machine. This is a Bristol wrench, though, and that's what you'd need. This is a larger one, but that's what you need to get at the screws on this kind of stuff, because they're Bristol-headed screws. So it's that splined not star pattern, flower pattern or whatever that is. That kind of wrench. So it's not your typical Allen wrench. And you can see what a Bristol screw is. Like that. So they sell these Bristol wrench kits by I'm not sure what the company is, but it's a whole set. Spline key kit. It's like $20. Just like Ames sells these wrench kits like this, flat. They're like ignition wrenches, but they're a real nice kit. And again, it's like $20 for a whole kit. They got the little cat symbol on them. Okay. Now we got to put the cover on. Okay, so inside the cover you've got these two locks. And I've oiled everything and stuff like that too. Oh, you put the cover on before you put the platen in. So it kind of make sure you got your margins up out of the way and your guide out of the way, so you don't pinch them. Hold those latches open while you finesse that into its home, like so, and then you lock those down by pushing them inward in this body. Okay, now the platen can go in. That was there, and then you drop that. See, that's one of the springs I replaced right here, because that was all messed up. And that can go back. I have a new IBM type ball element. This is a 12-point machine. you see the little number 12 in the left-hand corner. There's 10, 12, and 10 and 12. You just got to get the right one for the machine that you're building. So you take the 12 in this case, and you open that. This has lube in it already. And you just point it at the front, the platen side. Lock that down. That's how that goes. And you know, I got a ribbon I got to put on yet too, but I'm sure you guys know how to put a ribbon on a typewriter by now. So let's just turn it on and take a look at how she goes here. So far, okay, on, running. Type ball is pointing towards the platen. Of course, I don't have a ribbon or paper in there, but let's throw a piece of paper in. I was having trouble with the, yeah, that seems alright. I was having trouble with the plastic protectors in the bottom. I'll tell it, yeah, there is imprint. I don't know if you can see it, but, and it's all right there and then lined up. Boy, I'm sure you can't. Can you guys see the imprint? Well, it's making one, so that's a good sign. I was having trouble with the tray in the bottom, these protectors being up too high, and that, from what I can tell so far, it just turned out to be that the little middle metal thing here that retains the velocity cable itself wasn't holding them down very much, so I had to tighten that up by just pinching it a little, then setting it back down on the frame. So far, that seems to be not riding so high. Okay, well that's how you put a Selectric back together. I'm going to pop a ribbon in now. That comes in a little cartridge thing, like this. This is the old one though. I have a new one, so I'm going to go fish that out. So that goes on there. These two sides, I'm going to bring it to the middle to do that too. I want to see what I'm doing. Oh, and then you have, this is the ribbon risers here. This all has to be oiled so they work, you know. And this one is your selector. So all the way in, if I remember, is stencil. And then it's not marked, you know, like on the Selectric IIs and things they say on a plastic thing. This is just, you know, you got to know where you are on it. All right. Good day, everybody.